everyone, and welcome to another episode of the What a Man podcast. Tonight, joining me from New York is rapper, producer, writer, all around businessman, Mr. Will Sullivan. How you doing, Will?
I'm chilling. What's up, Ty? I'm
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 good.
I'm
How
I'm
are you?
excited to have. I'm grateful that you got me on here. This is
No
good.
problem. Okay, no problem, no problem. As I told you before, I was really excited to interview you because you've been doing this for a minute. And it's some things about you that I noticed over the years watching you with your music career that I want to talk to you about. So before
Cool.
we get into our discussion, just give a brief introduction of who is Mr. Will Sullivan.
Oh, okay. Um. Well, Will Sullivan is my stage name, and I started making music in high school. So a lot of in the beginning, most people would know me for producing beats and and shopping beats. I got my first major placement through Bad Boy by the way of June Balloon, which was the head of promotions for Bad Boy in the '90s. Um, that was the first artist I worked with on Bad Boy was Mark Curry, and at the end of the day, the one of the records that made it to I guess that was released was a record for Shine, the artist Shine, on his second album.
Mhm.
So that's how far I go back. That's like the you could say that's like the beginning of my career. But it wasn't like I was just a kid doing beats and that's all I did. I was rapping at that time too. I was in a group, so the beats thing was just something that I could provide on the side. Anything else to help me get a foot in the door.
Mhm.
So
So, as you said, you've been in the game for a long time and you've been doing great things because I've been following you, for as
thank you,
long as we've been, um,
appreciate it.
you and I went to school together.
That's right, right. That's right. Tell them. We didn't just start doing this right now. We know each other.
So, I definitely know what your grind is about. Um, so let's jump right into music. Number one, congratulations on everything that you've been doing from then until now.
Thank you. Salute to
And
you too. I see
thank
I see you making different moves and growing and still you still manage to keep yourself live online and that's crazy. Looking great, sounding great. So salute to you too.
thank you so much. So I want to go back and ask. So let's take it to the beginning. So, what made music your thing? Was this something that you always wanted to do, or was it something that it just came with time?
Um it's kind of like it's in my blood. My father, he's a musician. He's still making music till this day. His name is Ja B. Um when I was growing up, he would have like singers and bass players and things at the house. He would train singers. So it was always there. So I would be sitting on the couch and I'd have to listen through a session. And back then, they rehearsed. Those type of guys back then, they rehearsed like you did the whole song. You didn't
Mm,
mess up. So he also was one of those guys that he was into electronics. So he would have drum boxes and mixers and synthesizers and all that stuff too. So the music was there. But what
mhm,
draw what my connection to the music was hip hop. So at that time, hip hop was like one of those taboo things. They was like, yo, this is never gonna work. This ain't real music. This is they talked about hip hop like that. You could only hear it at nighttime,
mhm.
late at night. So that's how I got into it. But since I had a musical background at home, the other elements of music would fit in. So I wanted to be a DJ. So
Mhm.
that's really where I went in. My father got me turntables, mixers, speakers, and all that stuff was always there. The records was there, so I was going through records at a young age, playing with drum boxes. So it just fell into place.
Mhm. So when you switched from DJing and things like that, and then you ran it across your father, because I'm pretty sure you had that conversation with him, and you wanted him to know that you wanted to be a rapper. What was his response to that?
He was all with it. He was with it. Um, he embraced it, and he made sure that I had the fundamentals, which was learning how to read music. That he was big on that. Like they don't. He didn't play with the, like sampling is okay, but he didn't respect it. He
Mm-hmm.
felt like be original. Like make you could do it. Make your own. Like make your own. And you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back. The irony behind that was my first major placement was a record, a beat that I played. I didn't sample. So it was just it's crazy how, by him saying those things like, yo man, don't rely on the samples. You need to be able to play, play your joints. That got me my first placement. And even if you look at right now, a lot of producers are talking about how they don't have money, they didn't get paid from these records because whoever owns the sample is
Mm-hmm.
getting more of the royalties or getting all of it. So, you know,
Right.
he was with it. He was big on education and learn. So I went to Queensboro for music right out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So when you say you went to Queensboro for music, what did you learn? Like, and what aspect of the music business did you learn there?
well, they had a program called Music Electronics, which would at the end of the 2 year degree, you would learn how to record music. You would learn the fundamentals of music theory. You would also learn how to repair equipment. So it was pretty deep. You had to be in a lab. You had to understand electronics, basic electronics. And to be honest, I switched after like a year. I switched off to that to do fine arts, which was deeper into the music concentration. So I ended up getting my degree
Mm-hmm.
in fine arts and music, with the minor in music electronics. So that helped, but that wasn't straight through. Like I left college because I had already got placements before my second year of college. So I was really deep into music at like 18, 19. I was already in. I was already getting checks.
Mm-hmm.
My checks was coming from the labels. So it was like, all right, you know what? Which was, you know, you're never supposed to put your education in the background, but at the time, you know, that's what I did.
Mm-hmm.
And one
So
thing that go ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead, go
Oh, I
ahead.
was going to say that another big attribute to me developing was my cousin Legion and my man Maine. Shout to Legion and Maine Medicine. They already were in the studio, working in the studios when we were in high school. Matter of fact, right out of junior high school, they had deals. So, when we was in high school, my cousin brought me. He took me to the studio out there near Left Rack. My man Shah, shout to Shah, and it was like it was like a pre-production studio. But at the time, it was like you could say it was like equivalent to D&D for kids our age because it had a 24 track
Mm-hmm.
Mackie A that you could record and leave there with decent sounding stuff. SP12, ASR 10. So my cousin Legion, he was already working on beat machines. I didn't have a beat machine. I had turntables, samplers, and synthesizers. But what I would do is I would bring my ideas, my records, and my drum loops to the studio, and he'd help me put it together until I got my own. So that right there,
Mm-hmm.
it went to another level because then I just started making it on my own. But I was always the kid that was on the train with a keyboard or something like that, bringing equipment across town. That was me. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that was one thing that really helped.
So knowing what I know about hip hop, it started in New York, right?
Right,
And
right.
then we have all of these New York rappers. Well, so okay, let me start over. So it started in New York, and of course, with everything, it has progression, and then it goes to other places. So then at some point in the hip hop history, the South becomes popular, right? And then you have the New York rappers kind of switching their styles to fit
Fit in.
the South sound. You, that I know, have never done that. And it's still authentically New York. It's still dope. So,
Salute.
what is it about that that made you say, no, I'm sticking to where it started?
Well, at the end of the day, I mean, I wanna feel good about my content, and I don't care. I don't care if nobody out there likes it. I gotta like it first.
Mhm.
And from my circle, which you know, rest in peace, Big Moan, my man K, like the Catacomb, we were doing it for ourselves. We did what we wanted to hear ourselves. What we would play in the car while we chilling and hanging out. So it was always about us, never them. So I just kept the same mentality, and I really figured that if you start changing your style to fit in with them, then you lose your identity. And I'm big on identity and being authentic in style. Like I want to be known for my style. So when they say, "Yo, we need this is the type of shit we looking for," you
Mhm.
come for me for that. I ain't doing, and no disrespect, because I like all type of flavors of hip hop. I remember I was listening to Crucial Conflict when I was in high school. Hey, in the middle of the barn, like I was fucking with all that shit. Like I still
Mhm.
do. Like Bone Thugs and Harmony, 3 6
Mhm.
Mafia. I was fucking with that when back in the day, and
Mhm.
I liked it. But I'm not gonna do. It's kind of foolish to try to do that shit because it's a wave that comes with that, and it doesn't sound. You see, the New York iterations of the South shit don't work. You could
Mhm.
tell it's not really natural,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Mhm. Mhm.
So like I'm really firm on, and the era we come from, everybody stood out anyway.
Yep.
So Lost Boys was Lost Boys, MOP was MOP, Mob
Mm.
Deep. You could tell the difference between each one of those groups, and they were all dope, but they didn't sound alike. Even
Right.
leaders of the new school and Tribe Called Quest, which is they're very close, but they didn't make the same. It's not the same.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that's really it. I was sticking to my guns. I'm still sticking to my guns.
Oh yeah, you absolutely do. And like I said, it's dope. Like, and the stuff that I've been seeing floating around now is just like really dope. As a matter of fact, I had reposted you and somebody else hit me up and was like, damn, like who is that?
Salute. Appreciate it. That helps.
And I
Thank
was
you.
like, yeah. So I was like, I'm gonna have him on the podcast, you know what I mean? Because I feel like just like with everybody else, you need to be heard. So
Facts.
I want to go back to a statement you just made. So I want to talk about Rest in Peace Moon and him. He was a mutual friend of ours.
Right.
Um, we used to battle football season.
That's what everybody talks about still to this day. I miss Moan. Football season, Giants is up.
Yeah.
Yep.
So how instrumental was he, and what role did he play in your career and who you are today?
Oh man, like I very instrumental. Like he was the one that took me outside, really. Because I was the type of kid that was at that time I would stay in the house just working on music. Like a mad scientist. I wouldn't go out. But he was the one that was like, nah man, we gotta come on, let's go over here. So
Mm,
you can't you can't develop at 100% if you're just in the element of making music. You gotta experience things, you gotta be around the people. So I'm gonna tell you how deep it gets. It's all about timing. So while I'm doing all this music, him, Moan, and Casey was bouncers at the tunnel. And we talking
mm.
about the tunnel when Nori is popping,
Yeah, when it was
Mace is
hot.
popping, when
Yeah.
DMX is popping. So they was the youngest bouncers there. So they was like, yo, we gotta go outside. Yo, come on, you coming with us. We going to the tunnel. I ain't know nothing about the tunnel, but here I am, 18, 19, I'm with my friends, and now you absorbing energy. So, like it's a lot of things just experiences that he did, and that was from that's in the beginning. But even in the end, well, later on, years later, he got me a meeting with Corey Rooney, and he used to say all the time, "Yo, Will, yo, Corey Rooney is my guy. We gonna go see him." And I used to be like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, whatever." And one day we in Corey Rooney's house in the studio, and we looking at the J Lo plaques and the Mary J Blige plaques, and and that meeting, it was supposed to pan out to be more, but it was enough. So even if the things didn't pan out, what the information I got from Corey Rooney and the response I got from him was instrumental. So Moan is a founder, is a co-founder of the movement. He was
Right.
actually the backbone.
Hmm.
So he's deeply missed. Deeply
Yeah,
missed.
he definitely is. He is. So, ooh, wait a minute, hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, everything that you got going on is dope. I peeked in a week ago when you was doing the verses. So what was that about?
Oh, all right. So yeah, that's the verses between me and Legion, and Rampage, DJ Rampage hosted that. So Legion is my cousin, my partner from day one. He's like the big cousin that always like a big brother. So we've been doing music, and now we do music a lot more. The frequency of us putting music out is is on another level now. So 9 times out of 10, we'll record in each other's sessions. So like when he was working on the Bully tape, I was doing Based Out. So, and the way we work is he'll I'll produce on his album, he'll produce on my album. We
Mm,
always feature with each other. So we decided to promote the album, both the albums, as like the month of the man, like Method Man and Redman did when they came out.
mm,
But the beauty of it was we were all like it was a win for both of us. So we just promoted it as like a battle. Um,
okay.
so shout to Ledge, he doing big things and great things. He really stepped it up, and we just started mobbing out together like we supposed to.
Right.
Keep we the same team, so it was like, yo, you know what? Let's just we dropping albums the same day, we doing videos the same, same day, and we just gonna rep with each other.
Mm. So how do you feel about because there's a lot that's going on right now. How do you feel about the state of music today? And when I say that, I'm just saying like in your the era that we grew up in, we had Lil Kim and we had Foxy and so now we have Sexy Red and that kind of stuff. So and then I feel like, and this is just my opinion, hip hop has lost just some elements, especially authenticity. Um, how do you feel about the state of hip hop today?
Well, I don't think I don't think we lost the authenticity. I think the issue is um the support of the powers that be, the major labels. I feel that the major labels have a agenda of what they want to push, and it might not be um something derogatory. It might be just business where the model that they're following or what they're gauging is social media and YouTube. So if they looking at, oh, this type of music is moving, we're gonna invest in that. So I think, but this has been going on for a long time. I mean, I remember when Public Enemy was just as important as NWA, and then through time, you started to lose all the conscious rappers and conscious artists. I mean, the Most Def in them was probably the last wave and Dead Prez, but after
Mhm.
that, you don't even the labels didn't. I don't remember seeing labels sign those. So in other words, I think the money and the resources are put behind a certain style because they bring in a bigger return at the end of the day. That's the only thing I could figure out. And I remember one time, I remember like in like 2010, 2011 was really a dark time for New York rappers or anybody who had bars. I remember a person telling me like, "Yo, you're not gonna get a deal because you make too much sense." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" Nah, bro, you like your raps make sense. Like it's too you're too good. They don't want to hear that. And I didn't understand what he was saying, but now I get it. Like ignorance was selling, and that's what they choose to promote. But I think the tactic is a failed tactic because whoever you're pushing the music to, I don't think you retain the audience with that type of music. So even now, like right now, like if you listen to Ray Daniels and them talk, they letting go A&Rs and letting go people, and the black A&Rs and the black execs are always the first to go. So who maintains the culture on the corporate status?
Right.
So I mean, the state, but on the flip side, you got independence and you have social media. So how can you tell somebody about being blackballed if you got all the tools? You could reach the masses. So it's going to be on you. If you got it, put up or shut up. So I think the state of hip hop is a double edged sword. They're not looking to. I don't think we control the culture enough, or we have enough say so on what is promoted. But then again, you got to have the resource to talk like that or to do that. So things like that LL is doing with his radio station is phenomenal because now you got a whole network where he can play. He's playing the music that counts. Now he has a platform. So if we have more of those, then we might have a better shot. But still, at
So
the end of the go ahead.
no, no, go ahead.
I said at the end of the day, I think as an artist, you can't. It's no excuse now to not get your music out there and not stand out, even if it's on a small scale, because somebody's watching. Somebody's watching, so you still have an influence. You just got to put it out there, and you can't rely on. I mean, they just this is the biggest metric in music, well, in the business at all. Who buys the records? Who's buying the albums? Who's streaming the albums? All you gotta do is just trace it to who's really looking at this stuff.
Yep.
You already know, and then you'll know. And that's what it is. It's a lifestyle that some group of people are infatuated with that type of lifestyle, and they checking it out. So the Sexy Reds, I mean, Sexy Red and them and Ice Spice and all of them is not really different from what was going on in our era. It's just that they seem to be. It seems to be a lot more of that style and no alternative. So we had Foxy Kim, but you had the Brat, you know, you had Latifah, you had MC Light, you had different styles. You had Rage from in Death Row, like you had different females. Now it's like the girl and the girls that can rap on that level, they don't get the light. If you're not twerking, they don't get the airtime.
Right. So you being the artist who been number one, you've been in the game for a minute, and two, it's obvious that you put in work because you've been in rooms with people who know about all of this stuff. So when you see somebody who isn't twerking but they have talent but they're not being pushed, how does that make you feel?
That's when I believe that we're not in control of the culture, or either we're not in control of the culture, or we're not doing the right thing. We caught up in the wrong. I don't know. It's like, what is it? Is it the talent or is it the look? What is it? See, when we came up, it wasn't about the look. It was more so the talent and the product. Now it's more about the look. So I mean, I wouldn't if I was to get a job at a label and I had signing power, they would. You already know what I'm signing. Like I'm not signing. Not to say there's nothing wrong with that, but they do that over there across the street. But on this side, we do this. We do this over here. But the problem with that is, are they gonna? Is the public into that, or do you have enough of a following to support that? And from what I see, I don't. I don't think so. I
So,
just think
so do
hip
you
hop
feel
turned into
like,
something else.
yeah, and that's what I was about to kind of touch on. So in this era where it was like Wu Tangs and all those people, like you said, it wasn't back then. It wasn't no such thing as a following or a TikTok or Instagram. It was no such thing as that.
No.
So, do you feel like now these days the artists who authentically have the talent and they want to be in the game, but they don't really deal too much in the social media? Do you feel like it's a little bit harder for them now?
Yeah, but at the same time, I think it's part of the game now. Look what you're doing, Ty. Like you notice you got to elevate as time goes on. Look what you're doing. You got
Hmm.
you got pot you pot you pot yo you on it. I'm gonna interview. I'm gonna get these. I could talk. I know what's going on. So you gotta grow with the times too. You can. It's impossible to even think about doing music or anything without having a social media presence. It doesn't make sense. Even if you want to go for like look, politicians is on Twitter more than rappers are. Talking crazy, yo, no, they don't know what they talking about. Blah 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 blah. But you gotta be there. You gotta have like you gotta leave. It gotta be a footprint, digital footprint. So when somebody say, yo, this kid Will Sully, he get busy. What's his IG? All right, and then they go through it. Or what's his YouTube?
Hmm.
Then they can make up their own mind. So nowadays, the artist can't say anything about, well, I'm not into social media. Then you're not really fit for the job. Because
Hmm.
then if you get the label, see that's how you kind of lose your independence. Because if somebody develops it for you, then like
Hmm.
that's dumb. It's not you, so it becomes fake. It's not authentic.
Right. So how was the transition for you? Because you was doing this way before social media. So when somebody came to you and was like, "Okay, well you dope, but we want to take it outside of New York. We want everybody to know who you are." So now you have to have this big social media presence now, something that you didn't have to do before because you was always in the right place at the right time.
Right.
So how was that transition for you?
It was difficult, but there was like it was a stepping stone because the DVD era, I came like I was able to get a little bit of traction in the DVD era because once again technology helps us out where these
Mhm.
cameras, the video cameras became affordable. So when the Smack era, um, the Cocaine City era, all of that, I was able to get video shot, um, and they were pretty affordable. So that's like the beginning of the MySpace era, the YouTube era, the online era started to pick up with sites like On Smash and stuff like that. So that helped a lot because that's like the beginning of social media. Because now people could see you on MySpace or they could see you here or this. So um, it just now it's a lot more until because now you got to be present on a consistent basis.
Mhm.
So I still struggle with that because like it's just something that you got to find the time to do. You got to post good content. You got to make sure your music is good. Make sure the look is there. But it's just
Mhm.
part of the game. If you're not going to do it, forget about it. Like just I mean, do it at your leisure. But you see the algorithms they reward consistency. That's another thing. So you got to be like, all right, well, it's like a time frame. I'm gonna put this music out. I'm gonna drop a video. I got to do this. So
Mhm.
I try not to stay out of the game for too many quarters. Like yo, I got to be in at least.
Yeah.
I might be out for one quarter, but that's it. The rest of the quarters I'm in. Because it's you don't want people to forget the momentum. Once you got momentum, you keep it going.
Mhm. So obviously you've been around a lot of people in the industry, and like you said, the first person you worked with was Mark Carey. So how was that for you? How was that maneuver? Like, of course, I know you learned a lot, but and I know you learned some positive things, and I know you learned some negative things. So if you could give any advice about the industry, like what would be one thing that you would tell an artist not to do?
Um, I would tell the artist not to rely on social media engagement before, or don't put the social media thing before the skill set. The most important thing for an artist to do, in my opinion, is to work on yourself. Make sure your skill set is right, and that means if you rap. If all you do is rap, you better have incredible bars. Your hooks better be there. Be the entire artist. And if you do beats, push the limit. Don't stay. Okay, you can do this style, but learn the theory. Learn more music. So I just think that artists, any young artist, should be willing to work on yourself. And I think one of the biggest examples of that is LL. And if you look at LL's his track record and just look at when he comes in the game, he was one of the youngest dudes to come in, but you could see how much work he puts into his music still to this day. So that's what I would say to, if you want to be around, put the work in. Like, don't be afraid to work. And that's another, that's like anything, like nothing comes overnight and there's no instant gratification. It doesn't work. Even if you get it, you might get lucky. Like you said, something that's a key thing. Right place at the right time. And I was at the right place at the right time. But that doesn't happen every 5 years. As a matter of fact, now it doesn't happen really at all anymore.
At all, right? Yeah.
So I got my blessing and I'm grateful for it, but it's over. I didn't get to the top at that time, but you know what? I got enough to keep me going, and then the rest is on me. So I would just tell any young kids, you can do it. Just you got to put the work in. Don't be afraid to do the work.
And are you signed right now, or are you independent?
I'm independent.
Okay.
I've always been independent.
Would you ever sign?
If of course, if the deal, if it, it's all about what the numbers are. I mean, does it work for you? Like independent is good, but the right deal could take you where you want to go. And there's nothing wrong with breaking bread with a partner or an entity that's gonna do this for you. They are owed something. If they can take you to another level, then what's wrong with that? See, a lot of people get caught up with this. Oh no, I'm not doing that. But they never had the opportunity. They don't understand the mechanics of the game either. And it's only but so much you can do for yourself. So, you know, it depends. If it's a good deal, sure. If it's a bad deal, then you gotta keep it pushing.
So besides the numbers, so here's something that I want you to think about. And it might not take much thought for you because you're a professional, so you know. But so let's go back to the top of the conversation where I said some of the New York rappers sometimes they switch over to do the southern flow and this, that, and the third. So you're signed, right? And it's a great deal. The numbers look awesome. And your label says to you, okay, well, I need you to do something with Future. And I need you to kind of come and meet him where he is. What you doing then?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I like Future. Like I
Okay.
think Future's dope. It's not that's not that's not my style, but I don't know, man. I mean, I would try to make it. I would try to make. You never know. You might be able to do something with an artist like that because
Hmm.
hooks are hooks, verses are verses. So it really depends. But if it doesn't work, then I would be like, nah, pull the plug on that.
Would
It,
it be would it be hard for you to adjust though? Because I know so you said Future's dope, and I believe he is as well. Um, but you have a style and he has the style. So it's like,
how do
when
you
you
meet in the middle? Well,
yeah.
right. I mean, well, I believe this. If it's authentic, it can be done. Look at Notorious Thugs. When
Mm,
Biggie did the record with Bone Thugs and Harmony,
mhm,
we that goes down as one of the best collaborations ever. So nobody seemed like they compromise. Biggie might have switched his flow up, but it was still big, and it
Mhm.
was so dope that it didn't seem strange. So
Mhm.
it could be done. It's just, can you make some good ass music? That's the thing, Ty. It's like,
Mhm.
so what if you different? I'm different. Look. I'm gonna go. I know people gonna be like, yo, this motherfucker, old head motherfucker talking shit. Listen, Run DMC and Aerosmith walk this
Oh
way.
yeah.
Look
Mhm.
at, like, just think about it. Hip hop always been about collaborations and doing different shit and pushing the threshold. It could be done. Like,
Mhm.
I don't think it's nothing that can't work if you just make it, if you just stick to what is good. Like, let's stick to the standard. Like, are we gonna do just anything, or we gonna do something hot?
Mhm.
So I would be with it, but it just gotta fit both of the artists.
Mhm.
And I think it could be done.
I would like to see that.
That would be some dope. I think Future would sound ill over some ill New York shit.
Yeah, let's throw that in the universe. Let's throw
Yeah,
that.
yeah, let's make it happen.
I think that would be dope.
That would be dope.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, it could be done. Just the quality of music got to be back. We got to put it back in the I think in the mix. But then again, society moves so fast that I don't
Mhm.
know. Like, it's difficult. And it affects everything, not just hip hop. It's movies, and everybody's a critic. Everybody got a rating system. Everybody's, this that. So the only thing I could do, the only thing I stick to is, yo, just keep going, keep doing your thing, and
Mhm.
whoever fucking with you, that's who you
Mhm.
doing it for. That's who
Yeah,
you rocking with. I cater to people who like my music.
absolutely. And I would definitely wholeheartedly agree with you with that. So the good thing that I'm noticing that you keep bringing up is that you still have the same circle that you had from the beginning, and everybody's down, and y'all, y'all have loyalty to each other, and y'all, kind of play off of each other and do things together. How important is that to an artist?
It's very important because, like, it's hard to come out there and face criticism and
Hmm.
keep going, and you got to push yourself to do it. So if you are lucky enough to have people that support you and that are also creators, it's just like like a team thing where, all right, yo, bro, like, I might not be able, I might not put out an album for 3 months, but if you put one out, then, and I'm on it. Oh shit, we live. Then when I get my turn and I got you on it, and all right, we doing this. That's the thing. That's the
Hmm.
most important thing to me. If everybody's pushing, we don't have to push at the same time. But if we moving in the same direction, we're helping each other as we go along. And like, if you got loyal people that really care about you, it makes all the difference in the world. And it might only be two people, but that's really all you need.
Hmm.
And you see what happens to a lot of artists that don't have that. Things start to change, or they go through things and they don't have the support system, or they don't have the person to say, yo, come on, man, like, yo, bro, let's get back to it. Like my cousin Ledge, he's very, like, he's one of those people that be like, yo, bro, you gotta be back at him, bro. Like, and I be thinking like that, but by him saying that, it makes me be like, yo, you know what? He's right. And I do the same thing for him. Like, yo, bro, if you want to do this, we gotta do XYZ business, this. We gotta do the photo shoot, we gotta do the video, we gotta do the studio, we gotta go out of town, we gotta go talk to this person, you gotta pay this person, you gotta do that. So we help each other.
Hmm.
All of us.
So have you had anybody that was like down with you, and they was like, you know what, I really, I like doing this, I fuck with it, but it's not moving fast enough for me, and then they
Of
just drop
course.
it and you know
Yeah, yeah, hell yeah. Well,
uh,
most of the people, because if you're not if you're not an artist, and suppose, like, if you're down with, if your homeboy, your homegirl's an artist, and you running with her, you supporting her or him,
mhm,
um, you might be in the red forever. And when I say when I say in the red, you know what I mean. Like you might be in debt. Like it might not be profitable. And you as an artist, if you're getting praise and people saying, "Yo, we fucking with Ty, yo, Ty's ill, yo, she's ill, underground, underrated," you get at least you get that. But the people behind you, they might not. It might not be rewarding, and you're gonna have tougher skin because you facing all of the criticism or you facing the backlash of shit not working. But then they like, yo, this shit ain't work. Most of my guys was like, nah, this ain't it. And it's heartbreaking, but you gotta understand where they coming from. And if you care about them, then you ain't gonna be mad. It's just this is your journey. You the artist. The artist gonna you gotta stand on your own shit. So all the time, all the time. But I don't let. I got a one motto that one of Ramon's big brothers told me. He's passed away too. Ratty Dog always told me, one monkey don't stop no show. He always told me that. Whenever I had problems, he would always say, "Yo, bro, one monkey don't stop no show. You know what you got to do." And I hold on to that every day. So I make sure I can do whatever I can do as much as I can for myself and get the job done. Because you can't rely on people, and and it's not their fault. It's your journey. You got to push.
So you before we jumped on, you talked about how you were a storyteller. So one of well, not one of, but my very favorite producer, rapper, everything is the RZA.
Oh
And
man,
the RZA told the story of the Wu Tang on the Hulu series. What did you think about that?
I love that series. I loved it. I'm a big Wu Tang fan.
Good.
Big Wu Tang. That's
So so on the last the last season of it, he told the stories of the album. Instead of telling the story of the Wu Tang, he told like how the Liquid Swords came about, how the Old Dirty Out, and he made it a story. So, do you feel like? Because I thought that was pretty genius and dope. And
yes.
then I had another other people that was like, ah, I rather had seen like what Wu Tang had went through, like what was their story, like what? How did you feel about that? Would you rather have seen the latter or the way that he did it?
I was I liked the way they did it. Um, it was entertaining. Um, and people got to understand that this is TV, so it's not. It wasn't 100% accurate. That's not the real story of everybody. Because you see what Ghostface and them say. They like, oh, that's not my story. Okay, but that was RZA's and whoever the writer's presentation of the story. So to me, it was dope the way it was, and it showcased the brilliance of RZA in his mind. And RZA is the one that spearheaded the movement.
Mm-hmm.
So to break it down musically makes more sense to me anyway. We only watch him because of the music.
Right.
So let's. It was a scene where I don't remember. I don't know if it was the last season, but you remember when there was one episode where he was talking about how he produced it. So you see the drummers and you see the guys playing strings like he's going through a sample. That was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm looking at that, I'm thinking about myself because I used the ASR 10 also that RZA used. That's what me and Legion was using. So I'm like, damn, this is like this. He broke down creating hip hop to a T. So yeah, the extra shit in the background or all of the drug stories and the shootouts the streets. That's all part of hip hop in our culture anyway. It's cool
Mm-hmm.
to see, but the musical aspect to me was detailed the right way. So I like that series. I was
Mm-hmm.
I would give it 5 stars out of 5.
So if you haven't came across RZA or anything, have you? Because
Nah, I never. You know
okay,
what? I don't think I
because I
met.
need to meet the river. I mean the river. That's on my to do list.
I don't think I met anybody from Wu Tang.
Mhm.
No, I never met anybody from Wu Tang. Nope.
I'm not even gonna ask you would you work with them because I already know that that's the obvious.
Oh
But
hell yeah, hell
anybody
yeah.
in the industry that you would love to work with, it doesn't matter. New York, down south, wherever. Is there anybody that you would just love to
There's
put
a
your Will Sullivan stamp on?
that's a long list. Havoc. Want to work with Havoc, the Locks. Um, um, just Freeway, the boys from Philly.
Hmm.
You know, even the new dudes from PA. Ransom. I fuck with Griselda. I fuck with Rome Streets. I always fucked with Ransom. Um, Graph. Like I met Graph before, and it's incredible to see what he's doing dope shit now. And it's like he's getting his finally now he's getting, all right,
Yeah.
damn son, like damn, like and he's doing big things, but you could tell it was a struggle. He always had the music and the talent, but now is the right time. So it's a lot of dudes. I said already said the Locks. Uh, of course Nas, man, Nas. Even Mega, like
Hmm.
um, even like yo, rest in peace, Sean Price, man. Like Sean Price was like so. Sean Price and Prodigy, like those two guys, man, just missed. Rest in peace to Fred. I got a chance to work with Fred the Godson. He was a good dude, dope dude. Like it's a I fuck with music wholeheartedly, like all the way. So even Mary J. Blige, like I need a Mary J. Blige hook. I need a record. Like remember you couldn't if you got that you was the stamp was there.
Yeah.
So and that's
Yeah.
that's that's those are the vets. But yeah, like who I think is pretty dope too. I like what I like what Megan Thee Stallion is doing, and I'm gonna say why.
Hmm.
When she told a story about how she had paid Future for a verse or whatever,
Hmm.
and when they told her the price, she sent the money over there, and then she really broke it down like, yo, um, I want my art and your art to make art together. So whatever you worth, I'm willing to pay. So I just like to see that artists are taking the initiative and being like, yo, I'm gonna pay another artist what they worth. I want to do something with them, and I'm popping, you popping. Let's do it. So it's just good, especially to see the females bossing up like that. Like, yo, this is what I'm doing, and to be consistent. It's not easy. It's not
Hmm.
easy to do that. So the Glorilla and all of them, like that's not my like vibe per se, but I like what they're doing. I like that energy. Like, yo, they pushing. Even though
Hmm.
my daughter be playing that, I'm like, oh, here we go. But I remember Little Kim and Five. I'm like, yo, here we go. Like, but it's lit. So
Yeah.
like all of them the new wave. I fuck with the new wave too, and it's about the energy. I see what it is. It's like what can you relate to?
Hmm. Hmm. So you being in the industry or working around and doing your thing for so long, right? What advice would you give any newcomer? So we already discussed what you would tell them not to do, right? So what would you tell them to do in order to get where they need to be?
I would tell them to just work on yourself on your skill set. Um, don't make sure you support yourself first. Having a
Hmm.
job there's nothing wrong with having a job. That's the best thing you can do until it works.
Hmm.
Doing something stupid to support your dream is the worst thing you can do. Um, you have to be able to don't go too far with the drugs and the alcohol.
Hmm.
And when it comes to learning and staying on top of technology, that's very important. Like learning how to work cameras and understanding how apps work, it's all part of the game. Like if you don't learn it, you're gonna have to pay somebody to do it, or you're gonna have to get somebody that pays them to do it, and you're gonna be in debt. You're gonna be
Hmm.
somebody like you're gonna be somebody's trick. Like that. That's it. Like
Hmm.
so, do it. Don't be afraid to push the threshold and learn new shit. Like look at Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez edits his videos. So is there really an excuse for somebody at that stature to be behind the camera or to be able to edit the software that use the software to edit? That's another talent. So you got to be multi-talented in today's game. So it's you never finish learning and just work hard and be consistent.
And before we wrap up, what does Will Sullivan have going on? What's upcoming for you next?
Right now it's just more music, more drops. I'm working on a lot of besides like my source material, a lot of instrumental projects for video games and TV. So soon there's gonna be like a announcement for some big things on that side of town. But for the time being, it's just gonna be more and more drops, staying consistent and working.
Are you performing on stage? Have you done any of that lately? I
Last
see.
time was
Listen, I ain't mean to cut you off, but I was looking at something that you posted. I please forgive me because I don't remember the name of the song, but just it was the dopest video I have ever seen in my whole life. And I'm not even saying that
oh
because
thank you.
I'm interviewing you, but I don't know the song. But I've never seen when you come on with the verses, the words, the lyrics appear
Okay,
on. Oh, that is so dope. That is so
okay,
dope.
all right. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Whose idea was that? Because I swear I've never seen that before.
Um, I don't know which one you're talking about. I gotta see, but sometimes those little clips are just me reposting it and using the text for the visuals to come in. But it might have been Tydro. Shout out to my man Tydro. He edits a lot of my videos, so I think you might be talking about something
Y'all
that
know when
Tydro did.
they're playing pool, it's in the dark, like
Oh yeah, yep. Tydro edited that.
so
Yep,
dope. I
yeah,
don't know what it is about that that amazed me, but I was like, I've
yep.
never seen this before.
Yeah, yeah. That's that. The name of that record is Accountability with me, Todd Droley, DV Elias Christ. Shout to DV Elias Christ and Legion. Yeah, yeah.
That's dope.
And that's
That's
my man Val. Shout to Team Nova Boys. That was his studio with the pool table. Yeah.
mhm. So I'm sorry for interrupting, but anyway, are you going to go on stage? Are you performing? Are you doing club appearances? What you doing?
Not yet. I mean, the last time I got called up for a show was in the summertime. So right now we going into the fourth quarter. So um, I haven't gotten any dates yet, but that's gonna change soon because the fourth quarter gets real busy. So I'll keep you posted. Definitely.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I want to number one again. I want to congratulate you on everything you've done from then up until now, and what you're gonna do later on. Um, I wish you nothing but greatness, which you've already achieved, but
I
take it
appreciate you,
to
Ty.
another level. No problem.
Thank you so
So
much.
if we wanted to, well, not me, but if the audience wanted to follow you and know what was going on with you, or even buy a beat from you or something like that, how would they be able to do that?
All right. Well, I'm on most of my social media is all Will Sully Beats. It's in one name. I have a website, willsully.com, sullybeats.com. You can find me. I have beats for sale, and you could hit me direct on IG, Twitter, YouTube. I'll get back to you on that. So once again, Will Sully Beats, one word on IG, Twitter, even YouTube. I'm there, and I have a website.
Any last words?
No, just thanks to you, and I see what you're doing. You're doing big things. You know how to stay relevant through the time. Like this is dope. But this
Thank
is what I was talking about. You gotta adapt with the times.
you.
And if you part of the culture and you understand the culture, then it's gonna work. You
Yeah.
part of the culture. You gave to the culture. You invested into the culture. So that's why you're successful. So shout to you. I see what you're doing, and we need more. We need more people like you
Thank
to
you.
do this.
Thank you so much. I do
No
I do
problem.
appreciate that because I wanted to deviate from the obvious conversations like
Of course.
relationships and stuff like that. I don't care about that.
Right. Right. Right.
I'd rather dig into people's talents and what they got going on and share it with the world. So thank you. I do appreciate that.
You're gonna go far with that. That's right.
Thank you. So I'm gonna wrap this up right now, and I want to say thank you again to Will Sullivan and to everybody else. Thank you for joining me on another episode of the What a Man podcast. I'm Tanya Shell. That's Will Sullivan, and I'll see you next week. Bye.
Smoking barrel, going into battle. All I know is I'm top worm chewing this rotten apple. They knew soon as I got burned, I started shooting them arrows. Poisonous, catacomb loyalists, too fresh to spoil shit. Fuck a height, somebody tell us where the crude oil is. My music rally troops, alley-oops, that blood boil shit. Me, I'm lacing boots up, fatigue pockets in the contraband. My verse on the scale, that's a lot of grams. My shit banging like a Zakistan. Sully is 18, that BA Baracus van. A fist made of black atoms, I can snack Shazam. Ions, show the shit that I'm on, could blind the cameraman. I'm just showing results, this is a double dose. The firepower that could deflate your bubble coat. A whip villain with some muzzle smoke. You dealing with a villain that could go and crush a goat.